Hey, how you doing? This is Marjory Wildcraft, and I'm at Anarchapulco, and you won't believe who I've been getting to hang out with.
A lot. We've been having a good time.
Curtis Stone. We both heard about each other for years, and this
Absolutely.
is like the first time in person.
We're the small farming, small gardening gurus.
The regenerative.
Well, we're not gurus, but
Well,
people might call us that.
You know, in the Line of the Blind, your one-eyed king is.
There you go. Wow,
king, yeah.
Marjory's getting philosophical already.
Hey, so we were just chatting a little bit about the week, and I said, hey, why don't we do a video on this, let people hear what this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
So we were just riffing on the presenters. Yeah, as I was saying, I went to Andy Kaufman's, and actually I had talked to Andy earlier. We're all in the same hotel and having breakfast with him, and all the speakers here are just available. You can
we're all hanging
everywhere.
out. Yeah.
You know, but anyway, I've been hanging out with Andy Kaufman, and he says, yeah, well, you should use this and turpentine, and I'm like,
Turpentine. He told me that one too, first night.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Like, maybe not. You know,
Yeah.
You're saying no pharmaceuticals, but you're saying turpentine,
Right.
right? And then
Yeah.
I listened to his presentation today, and I'm like, oh my God!
There's something there.
I'm going to do some more research on it, but turpentine as a the main thing that got me on that was he said it will detox toxins from fatty aspects of your body, and it's really hard you can really easily detox the water stuff, soluble stuff, but fat soluble stuff is more difficult. So
Right.
yeah, well, actually, you want to know the real reason? It's because he said you got that persistent weight at your belly that you can't get rid of. That might be because that's where your body likes to hold stuff, and this will help you detox it. And I said,
Yeah.
please let that be the case.
Yeah. One thing I found about Andy Kaufman is he's right to the truth, even if he did that same thing to me. He pointed out some things. He's like, yeah, you could do this and fix that. He's like, oh, thank you.
Hey, did you go to the Flat Earth thing?
I didn't, because I was doing an interview at the time, but I got to know Dave Weiss pretty damn well this whole event.
He actually was going out kind of like, have you ever been in Central Park and the monks accost you? Have you ever had that where they want money out of you?
Yeah.
That's what he kind of felt like that. He got me earlier in the week, and he's like, so do you think the planet is round or flat? And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I care.
That's kind of where I'm at too. But
you know what? I wanted to go because like the whole stretching your mind with a possibility.
Exactly.
And having open-minded skepticism, I think is a very good thing to exercise, and that would have been a good one. But
it is. And you know what? I really like Dave Weiss, and so I don't even, whether I agree with him or not on that issue, I don't really have a position. I would agree though that I am a globe skeptic. I would say that I am skeptical of what we're being shown, because you can see that most things that the mainstream narrative presents to us are lies.
Well, that's the other thing. There were quite a few presenters, actually quite a few, showing the ways that we have been lied to or manipulated, or they're bringing forward really compelling evidence of just really amazing anomalies.
Yes.
And there's so many rabbit holes. I'm not going to go down all of them, but it was so great to see. There's there's this, and there's possibly that, and I figured. So there's quite a few alternatives of the real human history starting to come forward, and I decided what I would let them all do is just keep arguing and working on that, and I'll get back with them in a decade when
circle back when they kind of sort themselves out.
Right,
and then
because there was a lot of conflicting and weird, but it was also a mind-bending.
But that's a good thing too. It's great to come to a place where people can have debatable disagreements on things, but people are so nice here. It's not. With certain I find when I was in the environmental space for many years, I was getting flown out to go to conferences on climate change. Really, when I started my career, because I was still sort of in that space, and I was starting to wake up during that period to a lot of the lies, like climate change, at least with carbon and all that. And I started kind of speaking out a bit, and people really, really don't like you when you take a different stance. So there's a bit more of a cult-like culture within that space than there is this. In this place, people are very open-minded, and when especially the parents with their kids here, and they're all unschooling, homeschooling kids, and they're so smart, like that little boy on the stage.
Yeah,
he took the mic, and he was just hamming it up there.
He was totally doing good.
He was doing great.
Yeah. you could tell he was not at all afraid of adults or anything.
Not at all. And that's what unschooling kids do. My kids are like that because we don't cordon them off with other kids their age. They hang out with everybody all the time. And so...
Well, to riff off of what you had talked about earlier of just how nice, how open-minded people are here, I think that's the main reason. I had quit traveling. I've told this to you before, like a year or two ago. Like, I've been to the Red Pill Expo and the Greater Reset Expo and the Mother Earth News Fairs and the Survival and Preparedness stuff and the county fair. I mean, I've done it all, right? And they're all great because they really got people at levels and stages of becoming aware of what's going on. You know, we're all on that journey.
Yeah.
But hands down, this is the best.
It is the best one.
I'm not
agree
traveling anymore because I'm burned out after 4 or 5 years of intense travel.
Me too.
But I'm coming to Anarch. That's like
I will come back here for sure, and I hope that they do it. It seems like they've got 300 more tickets to sell for the online replay. So if you guys want to come here, buy one of those tickets now to watch the replay of this year. The content's amazing, and you'd be really helping to make sure that this event happens again.
It's really like they're not quite making it.
They've lost money every year for 10 years, and the numbers Jeff told me, I don't have to repeat them here, but the numbers are quite ridiculous. It's nice that a guy like Jeff, who does have, you know, a bit more financial capital to say than many of us, that he's willing to do that. But how long can you do that for? You know, how many years can you do that for?
Well, he's really up in the air of whether he's going to do it again or not. And we're all, honestly, I had a conversation with Jeff and about, like, next year, and it's not only that it's financially not working, but then we're also like, we're all kind of expecting something big's going to happen this year. And will transportation be this easy and accessible? Will that even, like, be physically possible next year? I mean, there's a lot of things up, and that's a very real conversation happening among most people here. So
it really is. It really is, because...
and then again, a lot of us have seen every year go by, you know.
You know what? I was red-pilled 24 years ago. I'll be 45 this year. My dad told me about the Federal Reserve on a drive to college. He dropped me off when I was 20 to go to college. And he told me about the Federal Reserve and all this stuff. And I've been red-pilled for a very long time. And I've been on this journey of questioning all this and this and this. But I will tell you that since I was 16 years old, my dad always told me the shit was going to hit the fan tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's always 5 seconds to midnight.
Wow.
You know, I think what I learned from him is that if you just, you got to go forward anyways. So if it's happening or not, you got to do that. Use the information that you get to avoid certain circumstances if you can, if they're going to be harmful to you. But we all got to move forward.
I look back over the last 20 plus years of being in this space, and there were a lot of decisions I made out of, like, this shit's going to happen in 6 months or a year. And in retrospect, those were not good decisions. I should not have done that. So, but, you know, I really regret some of them.
I did some of that myself.
Fearful, making a decision when you're fearful and talking to someone when you're angry. Those are two things I got to strike off the list and start managing myself better with, because that's,
Yeah, definitely.
But on the other hand, I felt like every time I got kind of freaked out or panicked, often I would buy stuff that was retail therapy. I highly recommend it.
Retail therapy.
Seriously.
Well, when you're supporting these local vendors and stuff, that's great too, right?
Well, no, I mean, like at my home.
Okay.
All this stuff. I've been buying all kinds of stuff for years.
Right.
Like, really, it's a great excuse for shopping.
Yeah.
But, so the last couple of months, the Grow Network has had a really, really tough year last year. So we've had to downsize, and we're minimizing. And, so for like the past 4 or 5 months, I'm not really drawing much from the company at all.
Right.
I'm like, I've got 2 freezers full of food. I've got a garden.
That's where I'm at. I'm in the exact same situation.
I've got I've got so many projects. Like you really should have a bunch of projects in case we get stuck with a bunch of time on our hands because of whatever. You know, that's how calculus got developed by Newton.
No.
And I think it was a bubonic plague. Like he had just graduated with his PhD, and the plague hits, and he spends 2 years alone basically. And he's like, wow, and like he starts putting all these ideas together, which would have never happened if he'd have gone directly to work. So
sure. Yeah.
So I have lots of projects for me to work on if there's a chunk of time like that.
There's never an end to projects. My projects are years.
Yeah. So it's been great to dig into some of them without buying anything. You know, like so I've got enough stuff to entertain me, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm really happy about being a prepper and having stuff. I mean, I'm like, I want to do this, and I go, and I'm like, but I need this, maybe zip ties, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I've got a whole bunch of zip ties over here, I get this.
You know what? No matter how prepped you are, whatever does happen, as far as what we consider the logical conclusion of looking at all the sectors of society that are moving towards this, this end, everybody's going to be affected by whatever happens. It's global. It's global. Yeah. And so, I use this as a way of inspiring people to start who might watch this video and say, well, you guys are so far ahead. Where do I start? And you just have to start. And there's so much to be said about being resourceful. And something I've always said to people is that at the end of the day, you can strip it all down. You can take away all your wealth. You can take away your property. You can take away everything. You lose family members. You name it. But what you still have when you're stripped down is what's in your head, right? The knowledge that you have, right? Absolutely. What you can do with your hands, your ability to work, your fortitude, that kind of encompasses a lot of things, but also what's in your heart. And if and when we go into hard times, if you utilize those things, you can actually accumulate resources and get quite far on just that alone. It's amazing what the human spirit can do. So prepping's good. Food, water, energy, shelter. Thinking about all these things in a progressive way. Where do I start if I want a little bit of stored food, maybe? Where do I go next? Okay, now I'm planting some seeds. Where do I go next? Oh, now I'm storing some of that food. Yeah. It's a progression. And just as long as you're on that progression, it will really help you with peace of mind.
It absolutely will. I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
And also being able to grow food is just like, I know that I can produce, or wildcraft or forage.
Yes.
Like, I know that I'm always going to be able to eat, and I'm going to be able to help take care of the people around me.
Yes, me too.
And that's
it's powerful.
It's a game changer.
It is a game changer.
Total game changer.
And the beauty is anybody can do that. I say to young people today, there's so little competition as far as, it's sad to say, millennials and whatnot, how people who grew up with the iPhone, right? People who grew up with this technology. You and I didn't. We were adults before the internet. That's true. We remember the world in a totally different way. But what I say to these young men and women is that if you can just really put yourself out there and don't get bummed out about the things you don't have, just focus on the things that you can do and put yourself out there. Offer to help. Always just be thinking about other people, and you will be surprised how fast the karmic cycle comes back to you. It doesn't take much. I really believe the world is begging for young people to step up, and the beauty is you won't have to worry about your competition, because the average individual is sitting there flipping on their phone all day, every day. Yeah. You go out and start helping people and trying to get close to people that maybe can help you, and you can move forward. It's not always a game of accumulating resources, right? It's about building your other aspects of your life. I mean, you must know about the 8 forms of capital, right?
I've heard of it. Honestly,
it's a brilliant thing to think about.
What are the 8 forms? Okay, well, I mean, I've developed my own 6 forms of capital.
I think there's actually 10.
One of them is your health.
Yeah, see, that's the one that isn't included in the 8 forms normally, but I put that one in myself.
I mean, that's actually the most.
It is, because it's zone 0, right? Yeah. It's the inner zone of everything you do. So okay, what's your next one?
My connection to source, spirituality.
Okay, spiritual capital, that's one in the 8.
How connected I am, how good is my intuition. And
your spiritual fortitude, your ability to stay positive while you're sustaining difficulties.
And centered, and calm when other people are freaking out.
Yes,
so the other one is family.
Yes.
Like I really work to stay in touch with my kids, and even I envision them moving here with me.
Yes.
Other family members, and then extended family.
Yeah, sure.
People and neighbors around.
Yes.
And that's the other one is so it's family is a form of wealth.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
How involved? How involved? Like, so the easiest, just like what you were saying, the easiest way to build community is start giving to people.
Yes.
And you'll get really well connected, and then there are other people that will go, oh, well, this is a giving person. And,
yes.
If you need any help, one of the hardest parts with people that give a lot is to receive.
Yes, and they build it up and get a little bitter sometimes that they're giving so much.
Well, no, but I know, I'm learning to, I tell you, when I was organizing all those events in Texas, after a few years, I was getting kind of angry because I was like, why isn't anybody else doing this?
So much work.
This is but to me, it was just like, but it was so much work, but it was so easy. I'm like, why can't they just do it? And then I realized, wait a minute. organizing stuff to me is like breathing, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize like that is a skill.
It's a very skill.
And a job, and I was like doing this thing, and yeah.
Yeah. So what's your next one?
So community is the next one, and then let's see. So spiritual, health, family, community. Doing meaningful work.
See, okay.
That's a form of wealth, right?
It is, and so the 8 forms of capital are similar. I would say community is social. So the 8 forms that I've been using them for years is financial, just kind of going in what we know. So financial capital, we all understand. Any type of monetary instrument is finance. Bitcoin, dollars, currency,
for me, that
gold and
is
silver.
The 6th form.
Yeah.
And the least valuable.
Potentially, but what I find with these, they all intersect, and you can use them to leverage one another. So financial capital, we all understand that. Number 2, resource capital. So the stuff you're talking about, and shopping therapy, So stuff, irrigation stuff.
Oh yeah.
Garden supplies.
1/2-inch tubing, small 12-volt pumps.
Vehicles, tools, resources. Right. Next one you didn't mention. I'm surprised. Biological capital.
Oh.
Living capital. Yes. Trees, ponds.
Genetics.
Sure, anything that is a biological system that self-replicates or at least sustains its place in nature. So like the case of a pond, it sustains itself. In the case of trees, they grow, they spread.
But
so
also
and so
in terms of your seeds or your rabbit,
livestock. Yes.
Yeah.
That's biological capital.
Yeah.
And then next we have social capital. I think community capital, like you said, would be essentially that.
Yeah.
And then we have experiential capital.
Oh, getting out and having experience.
Getting out and experiencing. Think about that. Where you are now from 20 years ago, what you know now, right? It's significant.
I don't want to think back.
Right.
Let's not think about that. There's a lot of failures on that road.
So spiritual capital is also in there. There's cultural capital. So cultural capital.
What is the difference between? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you. So spiritual capital is pretty much, you said, is your ability to be grounded, centered, self-aware, whatnot. What was the one I just said? Cultural capital.
Yeah.
So cultural.
How is that different from the social capital that you said earlier?
Yeah, it's very specific actually. Cultural capital are the traditions that either start at a family's tradition. So, for example, a tradition in my family is prayer before dinner.
Yes.
It's cultural capital.
Yeah.
It's a thing that's done. And so as my family grows, as we get older, in our community that we live in, there's cultural traditions. Just like the West has Christmas and whatnot. These are cultural traditions. And they actually have a capital value. Because if without them, people don't know each other.
And that often is the job of the mother in the family.
Yes, absolutely. It is with my wife.
Usually the one that holds it.
That's
I
right.
held that in my family.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So cultural capital.
Wow, I didn't. Well, see, that's another example of one of those things that like I've been doing just like breathing, so I don't even think of it as a capital because.
Right.
That. Yeah. Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
So financial, resource, biological, social, spiritual, cultural. So
there's one more.
There's 2 more in these normally. It is. Should read.
Well, now would be a great time to use one of those search engines.
I know.
My phone's,
yeah, let's do it. Your phone's recording. Let's do it in real time. And
I think what's really cool is that neither one of those. There's only money and gold and coin and stock and real estate is only one form and that's kind of the least respected in both of these systems, I would say. I mean, financial capital is very, very important, but being able to use it, create it, work with it, have it work for you. The problem is people get they get so involved with it. It's like it's kind of addictive.
They get so hung up on materialism,
exactly.
in a way. So experiential. I said. Intellectual capital, also known as human capital. So it's either with yourself, the things that you know, the information or what's shared in the group, in a community.
So the IT of a community.
Basically. Mm-hmm. So the 8 are experiential, intellectual, spiritual, social, material. I said resource capital, same thing.
Yeah.
Financial capital, living capital, biological capital, and cultural capital. And the 2 that I added recently are the 2 that you started with, which is a synchronicity, I think, on us thinking alike, because you added health and family. Yeah. And then I would say that's 10 forms of capital right there. And the liberating thing about that information is if you do a full spectrum analysis of your life and go, and it's fun, write on a piece of paper, how much of this capital do I have on 1 to 10, right?
Ooh.
And then what you'll find is you're richer than you thought you were. Because if financial capital is only 1/10 of that, and you stack those other things up, you go, you know what, I got a lot of goodwill in the community.
That's a fantastic idea.
I'm a healthy individual. I've had some great experiences. I know how to do some stuff. I'm a tradesman or something like that. You start to stack these up and you go, that's the holistic context of your wealth.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's not, and that's what the New World Order wants you to get into, only financial, because they control that entirely. Mm-hmm. They don't control these other 9.
Yeah.
How liberating is that?
Yeah.
And the thing that's even more exciting about it is they intersect. So you can use financial capital to buy resources, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. You can use social capital to acquire resources. Mm-hmm. You can. Your character will allow you to get money. You know, people will invest in you if you have good social capital, and your experience and intellectual capital can do that as well. Mm-hmm. So they can. All of these things can kind of leverage one another, and it's sort of a neat foundational way of looking at. Like, are you familiar with the early permaculture stuff?
A lot.
Bill Mollison. But what about David Holmgren? Did you ever get into him?
Not that much. The pattern language, I've got his book on my shelf.
Well, his book that I really, really like changed my life. It took permaculture thinking and put it more into that arena where it became sort of a philosophical roadmap on how to live in a regenerative way. And his book, it's called Pathways and Principles Beyond Sustainability. It's a cool book, man.
Oh, really?
It's a trip. Yeah, it's philosophical permaculture.
Huh. Hey, if you guys want to do, I've been thinking about having a book club. If you guys want to have a book club, if you want to join me, and I think or we could do it, we could pick a book, and once a month, and then get on a Zoom call.
Oh, that's fun. Eh?
That would be fun. Yeah. Let me know. Put it down in the comments wherever you are, and let me know if you're interested in that. We'll hook that up. That sounds like a good book.
It is. It is a great book.
I love to read, and it's so fun to share other people the insights.
Absolutely. So, I like audiobooks. Suit me a bit more now on 1.5 times speed.
Yep.
Some books I can go up to 2, but it helps because the reading I do most of the time, I'm just at a different part of my life than you, is reading to my kids.
Oh, yes,
and
we did that.
You know what I have to tell you? It is probably the most joyful thing that I do, because I lay on the couch and I lay back and both my kids kind of snuggle up in my arms and we read, and it is the best thing.
We had the family
And then
bed.
they fall asleep on me and then I carry them to bed.
Oh, no, we had the family bed forever.
Yeah, we do.
And,
we do too.
And we would just read in the evening, just to go to kind of settle
wind down. Yes.
And Dave and I, we would read a story for them at their level, but then we would go ahead and read a book that we were interested in.
After they went to sleep.
No,
or just read to them.
Yes. We would just say, hey, this is it. We have read
I
your
love
story.
That.
And
I love that.
Yeah, so we read...
I'm going to do that.
What is those angels and demons and that guy, Dan Brown? We read a whole series of Dan Brown books.
Really? With the kids? Wow.
And we were talking about symbolism and all this.
Probably not when they were 4 years old.
Actually, we started reading to them pretty early on.
No, but I mean that kind of literature, Dan Brown, because it's pretty dark, esoteric stuff in that.
We just read what we were interested in.
Right.
We did read another one, which was the history of tech. We lived in Texas, about the Alamo, which is very interesting. Those characters, Sam Houston and all that.
Oh yeah.
And learning more of the history of Texas. So we did have some, but honestly, we were not afraid to hold back, and it was like adult book time.
Yeah.
And they were just getting to listen to it until they fell asleep.
Yeah. I tried reading the Bible to my daughter, and I was reading the story of Moses. Uh-huh. I couldn't. She was just going, why is he going to kill his son?
Oof. Yeah.
It was a tough one. And so that's when when I asked you, because that's the experience I've had with. But that maybe the Bible wasn't the right content. Maybe I could start somewhere a little lighter, But no, but what it was is we have a Bible and it's a comic book version of the Bible.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Is it really?
It's this thick, and it's comic books. And so the main scriptures are in there that would say the main thing on a particular page or story, and then there's the characters, with their little bubbles for their speech, and it's pretty cool. But it is a dark book.
That's another topic here that there are a lot of people working on lifting the veil. That's what apocalypse means, is lifting the veil, and we are in the apocalypse. Yep. I told you that joke. I'm going to tell them the joke about. I was actually overhearing someone's conversation. One woman was going, well, if I didn't know the apocalypse was going to take so long and be so expensive, and
That's Americana right there. That's like, I would have just had more fun. I would have.
I don't know what. I didn't kind of catch the rest of it. At that point, I was so floored. I was like, I feel guilty for listening in. Anyway, but we're in the apocalypse, but.
That's what we chose. I believe we chose to be here,
and it's wonderful. And so this group gathering here is where a lot of people who have been working really deeply on different topics, and almost the universal one understanding is that whatever our human history is that you've learned in school or wherever, including the Bible, a lot of it has been falsified.
Yeah.
And there's so much evidence to that now, exactly who and when and what and all that.
The devil's in the details.
Yeah, but it's just abundantly clear. What about was it Winters that had the big tree? Did you go to that?
Oh yeah, Mike's. Oh,
Yeah.
that was so cool.
I'm gonna have to watch that presentation over a couple of more times.
What a mind-blowing thing! I'd heard about that before, but not trees like he was talking about. Trees that were, maybe the size of this palapa in its width, but he's talking the size of mountains, like, kilometers or miles around, and going into the what does he call it? Geobiology?
Yes,
yeah.
Geobiology.
And
showing that trees actually make metal.
The trees make gold. Trees were making gold over petrification over long periods of time. Quite fascinating. I probably couldn't do it justice in the summation of it, but it is amazing.
It's just what I was hearing was like, whoa, and I couldn't piece it. He was going really fast. Like I said, I want to watch the videos.
Yeah, it's cool that we have that, and again, encourage people if they're curious. I think it's $150, and you can make sure that this event happens again.
Well, it's more than that. It's just really
the content is really
good, intriguing, unusual, out of the box content.
Very.
It's out there because everybody hears it. We all got
real
channels
free thinkers. Yeah, a lot of content
we're all
creators.
Available, but to have like this group of us condensed into one package of really interesting and unique information. I'm going to actually download all of these. I got them on my hard disk.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
And I do have a backup cloud thing, but who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. It's kind of fun, this vortex we're stepping into.
It is.
Yeah.
It is fun. I'm up for the challenge. I believe I've been preparing my whole life for it, at least in my mind. That's what I say to people, too, is if you want to free yourself, it starts all here. And you have to get in the right mindset to desire to want to be better, to strive for something more, to help people, right? The mindset gets you to find things to learn, the knowledge. Mindset goes to knowledge, and then you start learning. Then you start being able to expound upon your capacity, right? And then you can use your capacity to accumulate resources, and then you can accumulate resources to maybe move, maybe change your place. That could be getting out of a toxic relationship. That could be moving outside of the city. You don't all have to leave the country or move to the rural areas. Maybe just getting outside of the main city, getting to a smaller space, And that's where freedom begins. Is just with that mindset, the desire to learn more, accumulate resources, and make it happen, and move somewhere, do something.
Yeah. My daughter and I, when we were homeschooling, we'd go every year for 1 week and then another week, like in September and February, to a primitive skills gathering.
Oh, cool.
And that's where people were learning and trading the skills. It would have been common knowledge in the Paleolithic era, so I'm like a little behind my time on this one.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, making fire by friction.
Oh, man.
And
absolutely.
And all that.
Yeah.
I forgot why I brought that up. You were talking about...
Well, I was just talking about going out there and accumulating resources and getting yourself set up, and being free. And that's another thing, like those wild skills.
I thought that's right. Thanks. I'm sorry. It's kind of late. It's been a long week.
It has been a long week. I'm so tired.
We would do a lot of wilderness type challenges where we'd go out into the wilderness with nothing and spend the night and not freeze to death, or go on long treks like that without taking hardly anything. Or, sleeping on the ground, all the stuff, trying to find water. And the biggest, and this particular gathering in Rexburg, Idaho, it's called Rabbit Stick, and it's where all the teachers of different primitive skills across the country come together to learn. So it's like a high level of teaching, and it's kind of like this, and then it's a really unique group.
It's a big amalgamation of a lot of knowledge coming in and bringing different things to the table.
But as you can imagine, if somebody's like really good at a particular skill from the Paleolithic era, they're going to be a very interesting person.
Probably.
Oh, I can make an arrowhead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the biggest skill in any survival, and we've just done a ton of survival training, right? And I've been in the survival and preparedness space forever. The number one thing is an attitude, is your attitude. Totally dictates your experience. Yes, it does. Totally.
Well, there's that prepper mindset that's go hunker down and shut the world away, and then there's the more permaculture approach to prepping. Yeah. Is that it's get out there, add value, make your environment better.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. Hunkering down and hiding out. The lone wolf strategy doesn't last very long, I don't think.
Yeah, you should listen to my talk on that. I started out with that. You didn't see my talk.
I didn't, but I've been saying this for years myself. Yeah, the lone wolf thing, forget about it.
The biggest myth in the survival and preparedness movement is the lone wolf.
Yeah, hunkering down with a big basement full of beans.
You know what? We all do it. Everybody who's hunkered down, like if you start to become aware, you realize that people are a huge vector for problems.
Yes.
And we have this instinct to get the heck away, and everywhere. It happens to everybody. I mean, I've read all the different preppers going back into the 70s and everything. They all made the same as we did it. You just get way the heck out, and then you're like, oh, but
But then it's not all happening today, and life sucks when you're by yourself and alone, and you're isolated.
And your kids,
what do your kids do? It's
And life really is all about the little, like the birthdays or the, I was out in the pasture feeding the cows and I saw these beautiful wildflowers, or, just the little things are what, celebrations. You got a name!
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's cool hearing that from you, and I'm a parent. My kids are a lot younger, and so you've been through, kids are adults now, and so I appreciate that. It is true, though, and it's so much more just focused time that's important, I find. It's sometimes you can have more of an intimate experience, reading books and what it is with your kids than spending all day with them if you're not really present. But when you're really present and have that intimacy, it's quality, and then that's what you remember. Yeah. It's imprints in your mind.
How long have we been at this? It's been really fun.
31 minutes.
Wow.
Almost 32.
Yeah. Well, it's the end of a long week. I'm getting on a plane tomorrow morning. It's been so good.
Yes.
So hey, I wanted to talk about the earthquakes. I did a little short video a little while ago on my backpack. And,
yes.
That was pretty freaky. So right after the second one, which I felt pretty strongly.
Yes, and it was higher than the first one.
Yeah, it was bigger.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were all saying, if there's a third one, I'm out of here.
Yeah. So
and it's bigger.
What I've had ever since is I've just carried my backpack around with my passport, my wallet, my phone charger, and a water bottle that has a filter in it.
Yes.
Yeah. Good walking shoes.
Yep. I started doing the same thing, and I want to show you something that I did. I made a map.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Did I show you that map? Maybe I can share it with our viewers here.
How to get out.
Yeah. I basically went on Google Earth.
Curtis is worried about a tsunami. I'm just worried about building collapsing.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's been great. It hasn't happened, but I'm like, it's really hard to leave a country if you don't like that kind. That's just simple. It only added like a pound to my pack.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I will admit I don't have all that stuff on me now because I felt, I think today we're good. But I drew out a map with a red line, and I plotted out, and I looked up the topography and going, how far would we have to run and where in a clear direction, not bushwhacking it or anything like that, climbing through rubble, on roads to get to a bridge. After that bridge, we can start getting uphill, and it would be a 9.08 mile run to get to 21 feet above sea level, and it'd just be a clear shot up. And so I just thought, I'm going to geek out and do it, because if I needed it, I would really value it, to know exactly where I had to go and just run. Imagine you just had to sprint.
How long did it take you to make that map?
15 minutes.
There you go.
Yeah.
The same thing.
And I sent it to all of our friends and said, hey, if we had to just run the hell out of here,
you did.
There you go. There's the path.
Anyway, so, I mean, prepping it's like I said, it's like the little things, right? I mean, and that's just made myself feel so much more secure in this event.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, I'll stay, of course, and help as much as I can, but at some point, a bunch of us, it's best if we leave.
It is.
And you can't leave the country without that stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a really great week.
It's been amazing.
It's just been... this place, by the way, when was it, October, that they had this really, really bizarre hurricane.
Yes, it just came out of nowhere. Boom.
Bam, out of nowhere. And it was really strange. Apparently, it came in the middle of the night, really high winds, and no water. There's a hurricane without water. Oh,
yeah.
So it was kind of weird. So that happened in October. And this place was pretty much completely, like, devastated. And they have been working, they made a decision that they were going to have this, and they have been working like crazy. And so I'm really good friends with Pat, the organizer. There's so much crazy stuff, like the power goes out, they got to get backup power for the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, the internet went down. Actually, when we first came in for the orientation, for the speaker's orientation, she said, "Oh, please don't step over there. That's concrete. That's drying. It'll be dry by tomorrow."
Yeah.
Like, you know, like.
Yeah, they poured that one pad where that for the workshop part there. That's right. They still haven't even pulled the rebar off on the sides. I'm like, guys, come on.
And then I saw a notice on there. I think I'm on their staff thing somehow, whatever. And the taxi companies were going on strike for like a day.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they've been dealing with all
bunch
kinds
of challenges.
Just incredible resiliency to make this thing. And as a participant, it's been pretty seamless, honestly.
It's been fantastic. It's been.
My God, how backing backwards that they're having to do to make this happen. So anyway, you can see all around the property. What I've been finding interesting. So as you walk in here, there's like a grove of coconut trees, and I was looking to see if there's any pattern, but they're all like flopping over every direction.
I know, it was a chaotic wind from all directions. Yeah, the palm trees, I've noticed that. It's crazy.
They were just, there was no pattern to it. They were all weird. And
yeah.
It was just
what's with that?
Craziest thing. Anyway, but it's very clear there was some pretty bad.
Mosquitoes are coming out now.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I think we ought to wrap this up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been fun. It's been
a
so
lot of fun
hanging out with you.
I know.
Like,
it's been real fun.
Right. We hooked up like almost the first day.
First day. Boom. Hey, Marjory. Hey. There you are. I wanted to meet you.
And my friend Stephanie had said, "Be sure Curtis Stone's going to be there." Curtis, she's like your biggest fan.
Wow. Awesome.
So, yeah. It's Stephanie. She watched the live stream with you. She goes, "Thanks for the shout out."
That was a good time, man. That live stream.
That
was a good time.
So Avocado Wolf and Andy, the big highlight on that was they got into a fight over ivermectin.
Well, they started to, and then I shut it down because I was right between them, and I was like, I don't want to be between this bad vibe. Yeah. But it was, maybe if I would have just let it happen, it would have went viral. But I'm like, I don't want this. But yeah. But it started to pick up. Yeah, but you offered him ivermectin, and it's just so funny because that came up shortly before, and Andrew Coffin does not like ivermectin, and they both have their reasons, and I won't even get into it.
No.
But it was gonna pop off.
Yeah.
But it was great because I just said, hey, there's Dave Weiss. Let's talk about flat Earth.
Yeah, right.
And then then everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it unified everybody.
Yeah, that was great.
That's the thing to unify.
He's something else. They say, so I was on that live for part of that time when he showed up.
Yes.
And, there's a rule like in stagecraft or, learning to be a presenter. I train to be a presenter to deliver a good show, right? And one of the things is don't get on stage with children or animals. They always upstage you, right?
Right.
So you'll never see a big celebrity with children. I'm going to add another one. Children, animals, and Avocado Wolf. Who's that guy?
He's a
powerhouse of energy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're not going to get a word in edgewise.
No, that's the thing. You really got to force it in. Yeah, absolutely.
But he says really interesting things. That thing about the fish drop really got me intrigued. He said he was talking about.
What was that?
There's a phenomenon where occasionally over a lake or something like that, there'll be a storm and they'll just drop a whole bunch of fish. And I've always wondered, not just
they get evaporated up into the air.
The explanation is there was
fish?
some kind of whirlwind and it happened to pick it up from somewhere else and they dropped them here. And of course, in my mind, I'd always heard that and I thought that's clearly not that, but I don't know I don't care about researching this right now. Let me, file that in the back of the WTF thoughts, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but he says there was a guy named Clark or something. Well, I'm going to have to review that live stream and see when he came in. He was talking about this guy who has a completely different theory about replenishing the Earth, like the Earth replenishing itself. And apparently these fish drops are actually common, but we can't look at it like it's...
Yeah, he was talking about that with the bar the other night, or maybe one of the first couple nights, about that. And it's kind of interesting because it kind of connects to that Gaia theory. Did you ever hear that in your adventures and sustainability and whatnot? It's just this idea that the Earth is an organism.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And
that's that physicist.
James Lovelock.
James Lovelock.
He's a total globalist, but it was an interesting hypothesis in some way And it kind of resonated with me when he was talking about it. I'm like, man, it's interesting because what I've noticed.
You know what? I like it's so far fetched, but I want to read that and learn about it just to see what those ideas are because they are so far out of my understanding of reality.
Yeah. Well, have you ever had the experience where on land, we have this experience in our house all the time, at our place, our property, is that when our body needs something, it seems to appear as a herb or something that we can use.
Really? Yeah.
And we found that the perennial things on our land are exactly what our bodies need. Like we have elderberries everywhere all over our property, and they are a superfood.
Yeah.
We have 28 elderberry trees that were just there, and they keep popping up everywhere. My wife harvests all of this stuff in the berries in the fall.
You're so lucky. I love elderberry syrup, elderberry tea.
Oh, and she dries it down, and then we make elderberry syrup in the winter, and we take it as shots, and just immediate immune boost. Boom.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. And mullein we have on the property too. It's everywhere. The world wants to provide for us if we let it.
Well, he has some other really mind-bending models apparently of how that works and how the earth replenishes things. And I want, like I said, I'm just like he just did enough to intrigue us and tease us. But I'm gonna look through your live stream and then dig into some of that because that's just so. Well, that's the other thing about there's so many presentations here that are just like, what?
Yeah.
But they have some really interesting. Like everybody here came with tons of facts and data and photos, and they're probably used to being like
scrutinized,
jeered at.
Yeah.
And so they really had their stuff together on whatever they were presenting on.
Yes.
Really different stuff.
Absolutely.
It's I'm sure not all of it is true, but even if some of it is, it's in a pretty amazing world. Yeah.
It is.
And we've been totally misled.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, hey, we ought to wrap this up because the mosquitoes are coming out.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah. And I think they're going to get the dance music going.
All right.
I'm like, man, quit talking, Jeff. I want to dance.
Yeah. But I'm going to just hang out in a chair and just watch tonight. I'm just going to chill.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to let people talk to me. I'm not going to do a lot of talking. My voice is, you can tell.
I hear it. You're losing it.
After my work talk and my workshop yesterday, I'm spent. So, but it's nice. I kind of want to just chill out and just be and just hear from people.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what's been so great about this. I've been just wandering around doing whatever I need to do and running into all kinds of people that know about the Grow Network, or they're showing me their gardens or their rabbits or whatever.
Yep.
So it just gets so stoked because I kind of I make videos, I'm writing, I'm trying to run a business, figuring out how to pay bills, and I don't often realize the impact of the work. So it's really good to come get some acknowledgement. Yeah. Anyway. Hey y'all, we're gonna go. If they will start dance music, and if not, I'm going to bed. How's that for extreme?
I might go to bed early too.
Pick up that bundle. I really recommend it. It's I'm going to be going through it a lot. Actually, maybe we should have like a study group on the presentation.
There you go. You could do that.
Let me know if you're interested in that. Wherever there's comments or whatever, do that, and we'll organize it. I'm going to post this in the Grow Network forums as well as YouTube and some other places.
Right on.
Of course, it has been so fun hanging out with you.
It has. It really has.
Really has been great.
We felt like we were kind of kindred spirits, and we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
When you meet someone like that. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. We'll see you later.
That was awesome. 43 minutes. Holy.
Wow, that's a long